Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, Alex Coos, and Tyler Spees.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everybody know that Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, the world's largest HeroClix retailer. Find HeroClix new and old on TrollandToad.com and use coupon code 5% or use coupon code Clixed Off for 5% off your HeroClix order at Troll and Toad. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. If you like what you're listening to today on Clixed Off, check us out, patreon.com/Clixed Off. $1 and above gets entered into our monthly giveaways. $5 and above into our Discord server for HeroClix strategy and tactics discussion. And joining me today is Jason. We are still celebrating that you're going to Rock Cup Alvey.
Woo! Yeah, I'll be there.
And Alex, it's been a super busy week, so I don't really have a lot that you've talked about, but you're playing Avengers Coos.
Yeah, I'm super psyched that Mr. Beast is on today's episode, giving away $1 million. That's awesome. Super pumped.
Mr. Beast. Yeah, if we got Mr. Beast on Clixed Off, wow, that'd be. I'm sure Mr. Beast doesn't even know what HeroClix is, but our special.
I would love to get him involved in HeroClix for Huntington's. Can we do this, Alex? You know Mr. Beast confirmed.
I wish. That'd be sweet.
And if y'all can't tell, our special guest today is the one and only Scott Porter.
Yeah, I jumped the gun there a little bit. Hey, everybody,
right.
what's going on?
It's all good.
Wait.
Yeah, we have a soundboard now, Scott. So Scott, I did want to let you know that we didn't quite make it in time for your appearance this year, but Gator Tot has been training very hard to defend his dad of Mr. Chomps that you retired 2 years ago now.
Yeah. Oof.
So
I love the name. First of all, Gator Todd is just amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So Sam, my wife, and the folks over there that run our secondary show, Sudden Death, they're currently retooling Gator Chomp and training him, or Gator Tot, and training him up to be ready for you here in the near future. So.
Go.
So today, Scott, this is your third appearance on Clixed Off, so thank you for being on. It's great to have you on year over year for our main topic today, which is the HeroClix for Huntington event coming up this week. Jason's, I think it was Jason's cough. But HeroClix for Huntington's this week. And we'll talk about some of the other stuff. We're really close to the event, so not so much hype, but a lot of what to expect this week. Well, of course, it's always hype, but if you're probably
not so much us trying to convince people to go.
That's right, yeah. Because if you're not already planning on making your way to Huntsville, Alabama this week, you may not be able to make it. But if anybody is on the fence at this point, this is your last opportunity to get hyped up about that. So
yeah, hit the Facebook groups if you need a ride or something. There's a lot of people traveling, so maybe someone will be like, "Yeah, I can pick you up on the way." I've seen it happen before.
Yeah,
so,
we had a couple of players who came down from New Jersey last year, like last minute. And I know Holloway didn't think he was going to make it last year from the Panhandle of Florida, but he was able to get up there. I mean, it was a little quicker for him than the guys from New Jersey, but they both decided kind of week of, okay, you know what? I don't want to miss this. And we will take all comers. Like if anybody out there is on the fence, like Daniel said, but they want to come, like, we would love to have you. That being said, yes, Alex, this isn't really about, hey, I want you to go book a last-minute flight right now. I want you to put your holiday plans on hold, whatever that is. But I definitely wanted to, just chat with the community that's already coming as well, and just, answer any questions people might have and explain kind of how the weekend's going to go and the improvements that we've been able to make. So super excited to jump into it all.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be, first off, for anyone, since we're just assuming everyone listening is coming anyway, right? Like we need to just assume that all our listeners are able to make it or are going to participate anyway, because we have great listeners.
You know what? It would be a record-breaking attendance if our average of 300 to 1,000 listeners all showed up this week. So
we just have to assume that's going to happen, right? Let's just assume, and then okay,
it's happening.
We know Phil couldn't make it, right? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I assume we have a listener named Phil, so I'm just gonna roll with that narrative.
So let's jump in. Howard did post a little bit ago that Auxxit, one of our show sponsors, the HeroClix for Huntington's auction, is not currently live, but all of the items up for auction are currently loaded into the app.
Yep.
So, Scott, do you want to talk a little bit how the auction's going to go this week as a reminder for everybody?
Yeah, for everybody out there listening, and this is awesome for people that even aren't going to be able to attend, because you can bid on these items worldwide, and we can ship worldwide. Of course, if you don't live in the continental U.S., the extra shipping charges will apply and all of those things, and you would want to download Auxxit early to make sure that it does work in your territory or your country. That being said, everybody at home can play along in the auction that currently has over 240 items listed and only going up by the day. Got a text from another person in the HeroClix community earlier, and they were like, hey, I just came into a bunch of items and I'd love to put them up. And we were like, okay, Howard, how you feeling? Can you stay up till 3 tonight? But the auction will go live on Wednesday night, and that is actually the first day of our live events in Huntsville as well. So it's the launch of the entire event, both virtual and in person. And the cool thing about this auction is Auxxit has changed the way their app operates around what we have done with our event, and we have really pushed them the last few years. Last year especially, they have security encryption that they're running all the time, but when they had as many people bidding as we did, as many congruent users as they had last year during our final hour of our auction last year, it was trying to run security encryption at the same time as taking on the largest load of bidders it had ever had for an auction on the app. So they went back and they doubled down and started reinvesting and making sure they could handle even more, because that's where they're headed anyway as this app. So Vince and Billy and everybody over there, they really have secured the app in a way that I think the auction is going to go off 100% the way that it should, which means 5 days to look at all these items, to bid on them, and then the final hour is going to be a crazy free-for-all. It always happens like that. And the cool thing about Auxxit, and I'm sure everybody is familiar with this, is it has a little bit of an overtime mechanic. So on Saturday night, when the auction is going to be ending, any outstanding items that are still receiving bids, every 60 seconds there will be a countdown. It'll be an overtime. And only when somebody does not bid again within that last 60-second window is the item officially going to end up heading to someone. And that didn't necessarily happen last year just because of the encryption that was happening in the background. Some bids weren't getting through and everything wrapped out like right at the top of the hour. This year, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more like it was 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And that is one of the most exciting things. And Howard and I will be online and we'll be, chatting about some of the items, and we'll all be watching, in the room as well, because if anybody's never attended, we all kind of sit in the main room of Lucky Dice Cafe, and we all kind of like have our eyes on this auction, and people are yelling and screaming. I mean, it feels like a Wall Street floor a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to the auction. Now, as far as the items, 240 plus, it's not just, a bunch of clicks. I mean, there's really, really fun, really unique stuff. There's a lot of chances to have autographed pieces. There's, of course, our big prizes of, make yourself a Switch Clix and stuff like that, and unreleased stuff that's still coming out. So, I mean, peruse all of the items starting on Wednesday, because it's going to take you a little time to get through it all.
Now, quick note: the auction technically starts on Tuesday. Now, it starts on April 30th, so they ended up moving it to Tuesday. It still ends the same time, but it says on Auxxit, and Howard confirmed this when we were talking, it actually starts Tuesday night. So just a heads up for anyone who wants to hop on.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for letting me know. I did not see that. Sometimes, so Vince and Howard know each other for a long time. So sometimes that channel is always open. And I just basically moved up to Toronto for the summer in the past like 3 or 4 days. And I've been settling in for a new season of work up here. So I've kind of been out of the loop. So, all right, we got 6 days for everybody to look at. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was just this morning, so don't freak out. He mentioned it this morning. I was like, I guess I'll make some changes. Like, I'll make sure everything's good. But one thing I want to mention,
I'm just excited.
One thing I want to mention about the auction, because I know not everyone can. Not everyone has the money to donate as much as they would like. There are items in this auction that are affordable. Please don't feel like you're not able to participate because you don't, I don't have hundreds of dollars that I could donate and put towards this auction. Don't worry. I remember last year there were definitely items out there that went for, good prices, right? This is all for donations for charity, but it's not insane to where you're going to need, thousands of dollars to participate. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point, Alex, because when you look at our past auctions, there are definitely auction pieces that went for under $20 even. And like you said, every single dollar counts. I mean, we're in a battle against something that, doesn't have a cure and has hundreds of thousands of people who need help combating it. And every dollar that we are able to raise here helps out with that. And I'm looking down the list. I mean, when you have 240 items, not all of them are these crazy one-of-a-kind or early access or anything. We do have something in this auction for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Probably do what we did last year. Didn't we throw some stuff up in person also? For I think Crampton had something at some point where we just... Billy threw some stuff up in either a separate auction or something to just get more donations going. If assuming once again everyone's going to be there in person, it is a I don't want to say hootenanny. That sounds weird to say, but it is wild.
It's a great time. It's a very Southern term of you, Alex.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, make hootenanny. Bring it back to the lexicon. Come on, let's go. It is a hootenanny because we do, yes, for anybody who's attending, we usually, or actually every year so far, have had an in-person additional auction. Now, last year, it was kind of cool because we had some leftover Avengers 60th boosters that we auctioned off in the room. And if anybody remembers from last year, it was the super pre-release for Avengers 60th. And you were playing with the set about a month ahead of when it was going to be releasing to the general public. So we will always have little extra items or things that people in the room can bid on. There are some things that go crazy. I mean, we've had pies and faces, we've had heads shaved, we've had a bidding war over if somebody could draw on Scott Crampton's head or not, and he bid against them to try and make sure nobody could draw in permanent marker on his skull. So, I mean, we have crazy things that happen, who knows? We get a little weird late on a Saturday night. But yes, we'll definitely have a cool little extra live auction for people that are there at Lucky Dice Cafe. So for people that make the trip, we will have a little separate side auction after the dust has settled from the Auxxit auction.
All right. Well, cool. I'm looking forward to it. I have not currently ever won anything on the HeroClix for Huntington auction, so maybe this year will be the year for me.
Listen, I have bid on numerous things and been outbid. I have been outbid on the Jeremiah Peterson, custom dice tray that he once again offered up this year, which I'm very excited to try and bid on. The only thing I ever won was a HeroClix for Huntington's coffee mug. And I just wanted that thing so bad. And I put it in all my unboxings. And, Gamer Mats has printed up some of the tumblers this year. So we're going to have those. And that's the stuff that I like to bid on, is the stuff that I just really, I can't find anywhere else, Some of the older maps that I missed out on. And of course we have some of our newer maps. So for people who can't attend, there's a brand new map that is going to have a variant option to it, and that variant is mostly for people that are in attendance, but that's going to be able to be bid on in the auction as well. So it's the little things like that I like to try and bid on. But yeah, please everybody go out on Tuesday night and check out all of the stuff we have. Everything from unreleased sets all the way down. As a matter of fact, we have one of our auction items is a factory set, to be sent to the winner upon receipt of WizKids, which means, early. But the set is so far away, they don't even have the name 100% locked in yet. So we have the HeroClix set releasing 2 sets from now. You're going to get a sealed factory set of that early. And I'm going to be, and I wanted to make sure I talked about this too, because in the past, there has been somewhat of an awkward handoff for some of the unreleased stuff, whether it's the convention exclusives or, unreleased sets or anything that people are getting their hands on early. You're going to see a lot of that stuff in the auction. Some of the things we will have on hand. The first appearance of Wolverine Iconic sets, which won't be releasing until later, we will have on hand. Ryan Opalk from WizKids will be there during this week. It's the first time we're going to have a rep from WizKids at the event, and that's very, very cool. He's going to be there taking photos and hanging out, and he wants to do a write-up at the event afterwards, but he's also bringing with him some goodies. And so whoever wins those, will get those mailed out to them the Monday after the auction ends. As far as the summer convention exclusive pack or the upcoming factory sets for the next few like I said, still unnamed sets, I will be on an email thread with Ryan from WizKids and the person that won. And we will be giving monthly updates to the person. Hey, this is the timing for the release of the set. This is when we're going to have it in hand. This is when you can expect to get it. And I'm going to be making sure 100% that all of this stuff will be arriving a little bit early, so that the special nature of these early release items that we are auctioning off are really held true to.
Right.
So Scott Porter, HeroClix @gmail.com is the email. And anybody that has any questions about the event or has any issues, you can always hit me up there, Scott Porter, HeroClix @gmail.com. And like I said, we'll be jumping in the week after the event and setting up those email threads so that nobody is kind of left waiting or doesn't have a clear understanding of when we're going to be able to send this stuff out. And we'll make sure on our end to make it super special that these guys get this stuff, get their hands on it early, because that's really what we're bidding on. Everybody loves to get that exclusive access to something earlier than everybody else, and we want to make sure that we honor that.
So it's a factory set for something after Black Panther.
No, so I think it is Black Panther. It's just here. WizKids, for some reason, doesn't know it's the worst kept secret they've had, because we've seen the slides from Gamma that showed it was Black Panther, and it's in the solicits.
Oh yeah,
So
so I was looking at the solicit release schedule right now to see if it was something after Black Panther or not.
But technically, it may not be Black Panther, right? It could be.
It could be something after Black Panther.
Yeah, a yet unnamed set, but the set after Masters of Time, DC, which is the one after Deadpool, is this Black Panther set that WizKids hasn't posted anywhere. But this is how we used to get news anyway. We used to get news this way anyway.
I don't know, Scott. Alex,
I don't know, guys. I don't know. We do have a factory set of Masters of Time that you can bid on, that you can get early. But the set after Masters of Time, who knows? And it's bidding on the unknown, but it's going to be freaking awesome.
Gotcha. Yeah, because we've seen some sculpts and stuff from the Black Panther set.
I mean, this is how we used to get news before WizKids started communicating better. Like, it used to be, here's slides from Gamma or Alliance Open House, and that's how we knew sets were coming.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're surprised we know that the set after Masters of Time is Black Panther themed, but it's fine.
It's on their website.
Yeah, it's on their website to order, so it's fine.
Right.
You can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, all good. So the one of the biggest draws for me, at least until I got my butt handed to me in top 8 in 2022, and still one of the biggest draws, is the Scott Porter versus the World event happening on Saturday, in which we get to all participate in the Ultra pre-release for the new Deadpool and X-Force set. So Scott, have you been practicing your dice rolling at all in preparation for next Saturday?
Yeah, got carpal tunnel already. I'm like, I'm gonna have a brace on. I'm gonna have the whole thing. No, it was so crazy finishing the Deadpool Weapon X unboxing and getting confirmation of everything that we were going to be able to offer for the event, and then doing the live stream that Saturday, and then immediately starting to pack and get ready to come to Toronto was just a whirlwind of a couple of weeks. So I have not had time to really dive back in on what other people have been finding, because I know there's been some other unboxings for Deadpool Weapon X, and I know there's some other figures. All I know is what I opened, but that's always, for me, the fun of it. I know I'm a spoiler guy, but when I play in the the sealed tournaments, the pre-releases and stuff, I don't always know what every piece does. And there's something awesome to that, because back in the day, having been a player of this game since it started, when we would do, a huge, like, 100-person pre-release event where they handed out purple ring, LEs, you would have zero idea of what you were going to be opening. And they didn't share dials like they do now. They didn't even do previews like they used to. So I remember playing in, Worlds and opening Ultimates for the first time and being like, oh, whoa, there's an Electro in here. What is going on? And everybody just had their 20 minutes to assess. And I know it's a lot tougher now with the cards and everything. But, I haven't really delved too deep. Hopefully, I have a Tuesday off this week. Maybe I'll spend Tuesday kind of prepping to see what we're going to be up against this weekend. But I think it's a lot of fun. I think the two sets that we have that we're playing, the Scott Porter versus the World Sealed event with, obviously Deadpool Weapon X is a huge draw, but being able to play with Next Phase as well is really cool. And everybody's going to be crossing fingers for Kevin's. And, there's just a lot that this particular event offers. And not the least of which is being able to play with Deadpool Weapon X over a month before the other pre-releases are going to be happening. So I'm super excited. I can't wait. And we've had a really good run. WizKids has made some really special things happen. I mean, the first year that we did the in-person event, they got us a bunch of previously quote-unquote sold-out product, which I guess they found on a crate somewhere or a pallet somewhere in a factory far, far away. And they're like, wait a minute. we have Carnage. They were like,
yeah.
we didn't know we had Carnage. Here, do you want Carnage? And everybody went bonkers that year. And then last year with Avengers 60th, and this year with Deadpool Weapon X. And, it's a really fun event for anybody who hasn't been there. Everybody's going to get one booster of Deadpool Weapon X. We have about 120 boosters of this set that we can utilize for this event, as well as the next phase stuff. And the pricing is out of this world. So we have a mulligan aspect. If you really want to play to win, and even though you like the stuff you pulled, with your Deadpool Weapon X or your next phase, if you feel like you can put together a better team and really try and chase down the win for the day, you can mulligan and you can rebuy. And so all of those proceeds go directly to HDSA. We end up raising a lot of money for the Huntington's Disease Society of America with this event. And the mulligan stuff is a really unique aspect. And on top of that, every round you can buy 5 charity probability controls that work like old theme probabilities, and so every round you can pop another $5 to HDSA and have a little bit of probability control in it. It makes the event really unique and really fun.
Yeah, and then just as a reminder, Scott, if you didn't remember, in 22 you ended my day very abruptly. In top 8.
Yeah, no, I heard you say, the top 8, and I didn't want to, twist the knife. So I was going to let it ride.
You're more than welcome to twist that from here in perpetuity. So it's totally okay.
I just love that I did it with a couple of pieces that everybody told me I should never stick with, and it was a lot of fun.
You did it with a piece that I mulligan passed. And I forget who it was. I can picture the sculpt. It was the super rare. It was a gal from War of the Realms.
Yes, I know who. Oh man,
my brain is telling me like Destroyer, but that's not it.
If you give me a minute, I'll have it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's. She's got the Captain America shield. She looks a little bit like a Valkyrie, but she's
Crusader.
Not. I am also
Crusader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Crusader that I had mulligan past her because I didn't think I didn't think I was going to play with her, and So
that was I had a fun little team, and man, I ended up facing some really tough opponents. Of course, I didn't win because. What was it, Allfather?
Yeah,
Iron Allfather just destroyed that day.
Michael Holloway pulled the Iron Allfather.
Yeah.
That adds such a wrinkle to the event. Is that you are like a good player. So you're in the event, and it's not like, oh, you're just going to lose everything. Like, oh, I'm playing Scott. This is great, and free win. Like. No, you have to you actually have to play because some people, if it's their event, right? Oh well, maybe he doesn't actually play the game. There's I think an extra aspect of Scott knows how to play this game and he can absolutely beat you. You have to bring your game to this.
Scott, are you planning on doing the beat Scott thing again? The prize pack.
Yep, I will have bounties on my back, and these bounties will contain actual Scott Porter figures. So the bounty to beat me has gone up over the years, and yes, every round there'll be another prize added to the list of items that you can win if you beat me. And the least of which is these new dice trays that I have from Flurry Pop. That come in that says, I played in the HeroClix for Huntington's charity tournament, and all I got was this stupid dice tray. If you lose to me, you'll get one of those. But if you beat me, you can actually win some pretty amazing prizes. So I'll have the Power Bomb and the H4H Scott Porter figures as a baseline for what you can win if you beat me in Scott Porter versus the World. And yeah, it's been nice to shake off the rust the last couple of years. I play mostly in sealed, so that's my element where I feel most comfortable. Constructed takes more time, and it's not time I always necessarily have with a 9 and a 6-year-old and coaching multiple sports teams for them and also having, multiple day jobs. So The constructed part of it has gotten tougher and tougher, but the sealed part of it is still so much fun. And I love getting into these sealed tournaments. I got into the top 4 at Newmark's event down in Florida last year. So, I can play my way through some stuff. I can definitely battle with some of the best of them, as what we saw back in 2022. Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is technically the only dice tray I own is the one that says I lost to Scott Porter and all I got was the stupid dice tray. So like I think whenever I needed that dice tray, it's like, well, I guess I'll use this purple one that shows that I lost to Scott. All right. I mean, it's all I got. Great.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
And then Scott, I know you wanted to cover signing of items from the auction as well.
Yeah, this year there's a unique situation where in the first couple of years that we did this event, my show was shooting in the fall and in the winter. So I would come to Huntsville, like pretty much directly from finishing the show, come down, do the weekend, and then be able to go home and mail some things out. This year, that's not going to be the case. So this year we have to put in a little bit more of a hard and fast rule, which we had kind of a light version of it last year. When you win an auction item that is a signed version of a map, or the Deadpool unboxing swag that I pulled, or my unboxing series from Notorious, or whatever other sets are going to be there, or if you win Pogs in the online battle royals, I'm going to need everybody's autograph asks in by the end of Sunday so that I can get everything signed and we can get everything packed up so that it can be mailed out the week following. So this year I won't be able to go home and have a tail on some of that stuff. So I know last year the unboxing swag that I had that I was offering up, I think Calder won the Avengers 60th stuff. I signed that for him, after I got home. This year, I'm going to need to actually sign all of that stuff. So please, everybody, be ready with your autograph requests and email those to scottporterheroclix@gmail.com. And, of course, we have a whole Discord set up for this event. We have a few channels that are specifically designed for communication for this event, and you can find those online as well through Rock. And I don't know if those are linked on the website, Alex, but maybe, if they can find them there, that might be good.
Yeah, I can add it. That's fine. I don't think.
And a big round of applause to Alex. Alex runs the site for us, and it's I know it's not an easy thing. So a big thank you to Alex for making sure that site has everything everybody needs to know what's going on and all the stuff they could win in this event, because there's a ton of it.
And there's still more I need to add on there. I actually need to do that tonight. So, but yes. Thanks for reminding me.
Yep, you got it.
I'm glad you were right there on the soundboard there too, Alex.
That wasn't me. So.
Oh, was that you, Jason, on there?
Yeah, I figured I'd contribute something, Oh,
good. No, we appreciate you, Jason. Scott, was there anything else you wanted to cover about the weekend?
No, I think it is one of the coolest events that I've ever been to, and I've been to a ton of HeroClix events. I've been to big cons, I've been to smaller tournaments, I've been all over the country. I played in massive halls like at Wizard World Philadelphia in 2006 and 2007 when there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there, and even that experience didn't have the same kind of feeling as the community brings to Huntsville. So I'm just super excited. So as far as HeroClix for Huntington's, I think we've covered most of what I wanted to chat about. I know you mentioned to me that you had some questions about
the community has some questions for you, and we have a big question on our minds. At least I do, and from a competitive player's standpoint, Scott, you're a big you're a big part of the HeroClix community with your from many aspects. your unboxings, you're always laying down the comic knowledge, the background on all these cool figures that you're unboxing. Your superstar at Sealed, and as a competitive player, I'd like to thank you for coming full circle and supporting the competitive scene with making the two best support figures that HeroClix has ever seen in over 20 years. And how do you feel about how much of your figures are being seen in the competitive results? And do you have any comments about the rate of play from your white shirt and black shirt versions?
Yeah, I think we knew they were going to be good and had a suspicion you would see them, but not at the rate that they are. My biggest goal, and I think I whiffed on it, was really wanting these two pieces to kind of pick up what had dropped out of our game when themes kind of got, torn apart. And I wanted, theme bonuses to come back into play, because a big part of our event is if you play in the Scott Porter Invitational 400-point Modern team tournament this year, constructed Extreme Highlander, if you play, there are amazing prizes. For the top two teams, there are very unique prizes. But for Fellowship in our tournament, there is probably the coolest prize. And I always say, if you come to win in the Scott Porter Invitational, meaning you build super meta squads and you show up and you are clearly just trying to win the tournament, you better win, because you're not going to qualify for Fellowship at that point, because we still want to see unique builds and we want to see fun stuff and we want to feel that element of the game as well. So I wanted to build two pieces that might help influence people to maybe fall more thematic. What I didn't expect was it just to be everywhere. And I play a lot of Marvel Snap, and when a card releases in Marvel Snap and it's kind of broken, there's some dials you can turn. You can kind of fix it, and you can put out an OTA a couple weeks later, and all of a sudden that card feels a little more balanced. This piece is forever, so I don't think I was fully aware of the impact that it would have. That being said, I have seen some really, really cool teams alongside the Scott Porter stuff, and that really means the world to me, because on the black shirt Scott Porter figure is our HeroClix for Huntington's logo. And the fact that logo is so predominant in the tournament scene, is cool. I mean, when you're battling a disease like Huntington's disease, awareness is everything. And I'm pretty sure almost every single player in the HeroClix community understands what we're fighting for. And it's just a reminder of it every time that particular figure hits the map. And as far as the white shirt Scott Porter, I named that figure Powerbomb as like an insider joke for people who have been playing this game for a very long time. And to see that is also bringing up really fun memories and really cool stuff, I hope, from the past. I know what it's doing to the current tournament scene, but both of those hold a really special place for me as far as what they represent. One being, this event in H4H, and one being the HeroClix community and the impact it's had on me over the years. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, got it. That's all good. Yeah, I think we all enjoy playing Scott. It's pretty much the first 50 points on every single one of our teams. So yeah,
that's crazy. That's something I never expected. So I mean, that's pretty cool. And I know a lot of people can't wait for me to rotate out already.
Yeah, it's I can't say we're excited for you to rotate. I am very excited. I know Tyler is not on the show today, but Tyler took kind of a step back last year after the new rules came out. because of the changes to theme teams. And this your piece here really, I think, kind of reinvigorated some of those folks who were, maybe disappointed about the theme team changes. So now they're back. So very, very exciting stuff. I'm glad that they're in the game. I think it really provides a big incentive for a lot of folks to play, play theme and play a team that's synergistic. So,
and who knows? WizKids could pull a new verse and do a watch list / OTA to hit Scott Pull at some point. But when WizKids does it, though, it won't be like New Verse who does it to get people to buy into the character, and then okay, we're done with the character now. Everyone bought in. Let's nerf it to the ground for our next character that's coming out, which I feel like happens. Sorry for everyone who doesn't play Snap. We all play Snap here, so
yeah. Let's see. I would, Scott. I think the next thing is I do need a Scott Porter emote in Marvel Snap. if you haven't noticed,
what happened? I reached out. I reached out to them because I was like, wait a minute, they're bringing Havoc into the game, and if people don't know, I do a lot of video game voiceover, and I was like, and some of the characters in Snap have voices, and I was like, I'm just gonna go out like on a limb here. And I was like, if Havoc's coming to the game and you need somebody to yell, cry Havoc, he's one of my all-time favorite characters outside of Iceman and a couple of others. And I was like, I'll never get to voice Havoc anywhere. So I was like, hey, you want anybody, shout a phrase, for the underappreciated Summers brother, I would love to do it. And their response was, they are a non-union game. Unfortunately, I was like, darn it. I wish I could have been in the game. So I was hoping to slide my voice in there. I don't think we'll ever get an emote in that game, but I was at least trying to slide the voice there. It didn't end up working out.
Did you for a half second consider, well, I'll do it for free season passes and like extra stuff? Like, I'll do it for that. Like, will you throw me a bone? I guess I can't with the union. Yeah.
We were in the middle of a strike for other reasons.
Sure.
Film. It kind of felt like me doing because the only way that somebody like me can do a non-union game is to do it uncredited, like, which you have to hide that from the union, or to do it like, as like another name, or you can ask the game to file an exception for you, which is what happened for me in The Walking Dead Season 2, the Telltale video game. That this year's map is actually based on that game. They were union for a while, and then they started doing union exceptions when I jumped in on that second season, and then they kind of went full union after that. So I floated that idea Snap's way. They were like, yeah, no, we're not. No exceptions.
Makes sense. So, man, Scott, it's like you're a regular podcaster now with your great segue to talk about
It's his second one. We missed the first one. So
yeah, I know.
You had to throw a second one at us.
So your new map releasing this upcoming weekend is the Icy Lake. It is an outdoor map. I'll start out with just letting everybody know the special rules on the map. I do have a comment on the special rules for you, Scott. And so Frozen Lake. Squares with the orange border are the frozen lake. At the end of each player's turn, that player rolls a d6. If the character in the frozen lake attacked this turn, increase the result by +2. On a result of a 6, generate a water marker in the square of the character a character in the frozen lake that either attacked or was hit this turn. If possible, the water marker must be generated in a square that isn't water. Characters occupying water terrain in the frozen lake modify their combat values -1. Scott, I want to hear your thoughts on the map, but the frozen lake is right in the middle of the map. And, myself personally, I'm kind of known for playing some rather long-range teams that might not want to meet in the middle and fight. So I'm kind of loving this map, Scott. So what were your thoughts about the impact of the frozen lake being in the center of the map? And I don't know, maybe that potentially discouraging meeting in the middle and battling it out, because it is a pretty negative effect to have -1 combat values.
Yeah, I started creating this map, and Daniel, I'd love to jump into a separate topic with you after this, but
What?
Are you, oh, sorry, Scott. You cut out there for a second. Sorry, if you want to back up there a second.
Yeah. Can you got me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, when I started to do design on this, I was, we had done Hyper RPG Studios, we had done a Friday Night Lights thing, we had done a Speed Racer thing, and I wanted to really tackle a game property, and Telltale's Walking Dead Season 2 was awesome. And I had initially pitched one that actually streamlined all the action. It was a bridge. There's a scene very early on and it's a very harrowing scene where Luke and Clementine, the lead character from the game, was my character, and then Clementine is the lead. And you have to cross this bridge. And the idea was to funnel everything in. And it kind of felt a little restrictive in a way that, we didn't really love. And so I shifted to the Ice Lake. But if we were going to do the Ice Lake, I wanted to really pay homage to it. And, my character in this game dies in this Ice Lake. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't played it. And I wanted it to have a sense of danger. And map rules used to be pretty regular. You'd get like one map per set that had a map rule on it.
Yep.
And it was something that people could build towards. Now, if you want to build a team where it's like, I dare you to come across this lake, like that's kind of cool. If you want to build, a squad, and especially now with terrain, being able to place terrain down in different places now, I felt like there's some flexibility with a lot of the new mechanics that, could really, I would love to see what the community could think to do with this map. And when I pitched them the map rule, they definitely had a bunch of tweaks that they wanted to do. It was even the rules that I pitched were like super, super harsh. And they were like,
wow.
Yeah, we need to dial this back a little bit. And the lake was bigger. I mean, I was like all in on like this map, and it was just for me, like I said earlier with like Snap is like, turning dials. So like creating a map like this, even when I'm creating this map for this event that, Howard and I created, WizKids is like, hey, we want to help you with this, and you can't just do it on your own. And they like, it's a very collaborative effort. So this is where we ended up. Now, we were very aware of like, if you notice the distance, ranges have shrunk in the game. And yes, there still are some very large range figures, especially if you go back to Silver Age. But like a lot of the modern age ranges have shrunk a little bit. So there's definitely a lot of 7 or 8 square paths across the lake. You can get a little shorter, and if you position yourself correctly. But with terrain and terrain item, squares and everything that you can place on the map, like you might be able to force that range out a little further. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what the community does with it. And it sounds like feedback has been pretty positive. Am I wrong on that?
I definitely like it. So I think it looks really great. I do appreciate that you let me know what game it was from. Golly, Scott, you do. This is not a brag or anything, but golly, you do so much. I didn't even wasn't even aware you were in that video game. Wasn't aware that video game existed till right now. So now I have something to go research, which is exciting for me. Yeah, no, I think I've heard a lot of positive feedback about the map itself. I think it's has a potential to be a pretty big game changer.
That's awesome. That's all we want. And it's also my first ever 2x2 design map. So there was definitely some a little bit of a learning curve of trying to figure out, okay, what is an approachable map, but also has like a sense of danger to it that people would still want to play on. And, Alex and Aaron and Howard, the people that are a part of H4H and have been for years, like, we kind of had some discussions about this too. So I kind of had a little bit of help in this realm, but it's really cool that WizKids kind of steps up. And Daniel, you being a winner of one of our quote unquote design A prizes, you did a legacy card.
Yeah.
Process for that is you don't get to pick everything that happens. So I had to tweak the rules on this map. I had to tweak the amount of spaces that the lake was going to be, because WizKids was, hey, we want to help make this thing successful, but we also have certain rules and competitive stuff that we're aiming towards. I've always, because I don't know exactly what the process is for you with the design a legacy card. Like how did that go for you?
Yeah, so I got in touch with WizKids after the event, basically I'm a pretty proactive person when it comes to my life and my job and that sort of thing. So I sent in my email with the character I would have liked. I first started off with a disclaimer, like, if this character can't be picked, let me know. I have another list. I don't want it to be a long discussion. But I'll be glad to pick something else, because I did pick a chase figure. But leading up to that event in 22, they had just recently previewed a chase from that set as a legacy figure. It was the Rick Jones. So I was like, well, picking another chase from that set shouldn't be that big a deal. So I sent in my email with my figure that I selected, and I sent in a pretty thorough list of things that I would like to see changed on the character. There was a little bit of back and forth on questions on the design, and most of what I had suggested was able to be added to the figure. So it was a very great experience. The design team was talkative with me, I guess might be the word. Like, they communicated with me. They were responsive, answered any questions that I had, overall, 10 out of 10 would like to do again.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know a lot of how these things go, because I had seen all these world champions be able to design figures and all this stuff, and I always wondered how that process happened. And then with our event, when we started offering it as prizes, I got a little bit of a walkthrough, but thank you for sharing that with me, because I didn't know exactly how the process. This year I guess I will, because I'm going to be on the email thread with all of our winners of all of our unique prizing and everything, just to make sure that everybody's taken care of. And if anybody, instead of hearing about it through Facebook post or something along those lines, like being able to conversation and make sure everybody is taken care of, is really cool. But thanks for sharing that with us, because that is really cool.
Yeah, no, it was great. I really hope to be able to do it again this year. So
yeah, and Scott, real quick, to piggyback, talking about your map for a second, because I know your previous maps haven't exactly cracked the competitive scene. They're great, beautiful maps, but people aren't necessarily playing them at high competitive. I think Ice Lake does have some potential from the aspect also of just the terrain markers, because you can't place terrain markers in that icy area because it's all orange. It's all special terrain technically. And there's a few characters out there, some giant monkeys, that like some special terrain markers to be around.
Yeah, I guess.
Might be.
I just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so so as a reminder, like the barrel the Plastic Man barrel and stuff, those have to still go 5 out. So I guess if you are put on this map with one,
you have to choose that once. Yeah, you have to choose that one side.
Yeah, you have to choose the what I'm looking at on HC units, the top side where A1 is, because that's the only spot that you could put those on your side of the starting area. Now you could flip the map to where the lake is, say north-south instead of east-west, as I'm looking at it right now. But that would also restrict some of your placement, as the ice lake would be in your start zone. So I hadn't thought about that. That's a good call out there, Alex.
Yeah, it's definitely a map that you're like, this does something interesting, so it needs to be on our radar. It could be, something for whatever team you're playing. Could be very playable.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool, though, to see Racer Motors get a little bit of play. I saw a couple of the top 8 teams, I think top 8 teams at Adepticon or Racer Motors as one of their maps, which, look, the Hyper RPG map was the first map I'd ever designed, and I've been trying to get better, and I always want these things to be either in a fun way. I know I've seen the Friday Night Lights, the Field House, a few times because it forces people into the middle, and that was kind of where WizKids was going at the time, and it did do some stuff like at the local level for me, but to see Racer Motors at Adepticon at the top 8 was really cool, and now to know that people are gonna maybe get a little bit further into it and say, hey, what can I design around this map here is pretty cool to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then, Scott, I know that you're going to be on Critical Clix here in a few more minutes, so I did want to just get in a couple of community questions, some a little bit more general stuff. Giordano wants to know, what kicks are you rocking today?
Man, my New York Knicks just went up 3-1 on the 76ers today. Talking sports, people. And I was wearing the Knicks Jordan 3s today. They are orange and blue with that beautiful gray elephant print on it. It's actually a shoe that that Michael Jordan had, or a colorway that Michael Jordan had put together with the orange and blue to pay respect to all the Knicks teams that lost to them in the 90s. Made a couple of finals, but never were able to get it done. And as a Knicks fan, it's pretty cool to be able to wear a pair of kicks that honor those teams, because they were a lot of fun.
Cool. And then John, Eric Hafford, and Rob Peterson think they have solved the mystery of the masked singer. Is it you, Scott?
Man, it seems like every season of The Masked Singer, I'm guessed by somebody for some contestant somewhere. The way the show works, for anybody out there who hasn't ever watched it, there's a number of singers all in these crazy elaborate costumes, and season 4 had Chris Daughtry dressed up like a bulldog who had like a blue band on his arm, and talked about football and had some very interesting catchphrases and stuff, and everybody was convinced that it was me. It was Chris Daughtry. And I don't even necessarily sound like Chris Daughtry, but so many people, when you're watching this, have like a confirmation bias of like, oh, I know who that is. I know that voice. So it wouldn't be the first time that I was guest for one of these contestants. So, we'll just have to, I guess, wait and see if Hafford and Peterson's sleuthing ends up being correct. But it's happened before, and people have been wrong. So
gotcha.
Just want to put that out there.
All good. And then a good question that I think Newmark asked in the wrong group, but he asked it in our group. Why does Scott Crampton still play HeroClix?
I mean, it's not because he has to. So I guess just for the love of the game. I mean, look, he just got a deal on Shark Tank. It's not like
right.
It's not like I think honestly, Daniel, Kuz, Alvi, I think all of us, we play this game because we love it. We don't play this game because we have to. And as much as Crampton is a character in our community, I mean, I don't think you can question whether or not he loves this game and
That's right.
wants to see it survive, And it's the core of the game. You can have disagreements of, what the game is in its current state or in the past or whatever, but I mean, the reason I do unboxings is not because I have to. The reason I do unboxings is because the game died for 2 years. And when I called and I said, is there anything I can do to help? And when the game was revitalized, I called and said, is there anything I can do to help? And, it for me was kind of like on the marketing end of going, can we get the community rallied up and can we get them information? I think we said earlier in this podcast that there was a long time there where you didn't hear anything, and it was all shrouded in mystery what the next set was or who was going to be in it, and we had all these different threads being like, these are what we're guessing. Now everybody is a much more solid understanding of what they're buying into, and what's coming up, and I feel like hype for these sets is driven a lot more clearly, and that's why I do it, and I just for the love of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from my perspective, it shows not to make Scott Crampton's ego larger, but the fact that he just got a deal on Shark Tank and is able to run his business in such a way that he is able to show up this weekend is a testament to Crampton's ability to run a business, which is pretty neat to me. So as a businessman, so, and then Jay Major we did talk to Scott here about his two figures, and then Kari has a question for the weekend. Should we all have to yell "Power Bomb" when your white shirt figure uses Pulse Wave?
I mean, that takes me back to the old drunken HeroClix nights that I would do at Wizard Worlds, where you would make rules up throughout the night. When people would roll a critical miss, you get to make a rule up or something. I mean, that sounds like something to do in a much smaller event setting. I mean, I think for Worlds, you're just gonna have for the Rock Championships on Sunday, I think it's just going to be a cacophony of power bomb. I don't think there's any way to actually enforce it without it just being way too much.
Yeah, for sure. And then
I've got a quick question while you're looking at questions for Scott.
Go ahead.
We haven't been able to talk about this on the show yet, but Scott, have you had an opportunity to watch any of X-Men 97 yet?
Haven't yet.
Did you used to watch it at all? Was that something? Did you watch the old animated X-Men?
I did. This just released at a time when my time to myself is much less than it normally has been.
Sure.
My wife is not a huge fan of cartoons, and she will not watch them with me. So X-Men 97 is definitely a show. I think my son is old enough to watch it, and actually, my daughter might be able to watch it as well. I mean, she's seen Goonies. I think she could probably handle X-Men 97 because Goonies than I remembered. That being said, I just haven't had the chance to sit and watch it. My wife and I were watching Shogun, and that show is incredible. And Survivor's happening right now, which is my guilty pleasure for TV. And so the 1 or 2 hours we would have a night to watch something, I haven't even been playing that many video games. I am an Xbox fanatic, and there was about a 4-week period there when I didn't even turn my Xbox on. So I just haven't had the time. Everybody's telling me how great it is. Everybody is like, episode 5, that's and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to hear anything else. Now that I'm up here working and I'm on the road, I might be able to steal a little bit of time to watch it. So
yeah, it's pretty amazing. I remember watching the old one, and as a kid it's different, right? It doesn't have the same sparkle as an adult. I appreciate things better than as a kid it's X-Men, yay. But now watching the new stuff. I went in thinking, oh, this could be interesting. And now I'm waiting every, Tuesday night or Wednesday for it to come out, like a kid waiting for Saturday, which feels great. I love it. Another question I wanted to ask you is, you voiced a lot of things over the years, and I'm guessing, like, how many times have your kids watched something that you voiced, and what has their general reaction been to it? Have they noticed? Or
They love
did they
it.
tell?
Yes, they love it. I read to them, and when I read to them, I read in voices. I read this book called Mabel Jones to them, and I'll read to them like over the course of a month, a chapter book, and all the characters within I will give voices to. So when they see an animated show that I'm a part of, they understand that I'm just lending a voice to this animated character. They get way more confused when they can actually see me in a scripted environment, and it's actually me there. I did a Hallmark movie about a horse trainer, and they saw it, and they were so confused that I knew how to ride horses. They're like, "You don't know how to ride horses." I was like, "No, I do." They're like, "Not like that." I said, "Well, yeah, and why I was divorced from a woman." And they're like, "But you're married to mommy." I'm like, "Yes, I know." So me lending a voice to a character fits way more in their head of like understanding context than me actually being on screen as a human being acting. Now, my son just got cast in his school musical, in his second grade musical, as a sloth in a little musical called Rumpus in the Rainforest. And
Nice.
he walked up to me the other day and goes, "Dad, I think I finally understand." So, now he's catching on. He's going to be 9 this month. So I think he's gotten to the point where he can figure it out.
All right, so we're gonna. We got 2 more questions real quick. So we're gonna combine Aaron and Alex's question here. Of all of the superheroes you have voiced, which character do you enjoy playing the most during HeroClix?
Oh man, I think it's got to be the Flash. I mean, I love the idea of speedsters overall. Like, as far as Marvel goes, Quicksilver's, like, until they ruined him, was one of my all-time favorite characters back in like the 80s and 90s. And so speedsters are a lot of fun to play with in HeroClix as well. I mean, hypersonic speed has always been like a go-to to me, and try and figure out how to get in and out. And so love playing with Flashes. I never really played with a Star-Lord. And I played with some Bucky, with some Winter Soldier, but yeah, I'd have to say the Flash.
Okay, good deal. And then I guess shout out to Joe Easton for I guess really reaching into your IMDb there. Are we going to see future Scott Porter Fig with the Rusty Waters hair?
For anybody out there, you got to look up this movie. It's a little movie with some, comic like geniuses: Bill Hader, Aubrey Plaza, Andy Samberg, Donald Glover. This movie is packed with cast, and I played a character, a lifeguard in Boise, Idaho, who sings a little "Pour Some Sugar on Me," and definitely has the hair to match that guy. As if you're thinking of what he looks like right now, that definitely. That being said, we've had some talks about maybe running it back with a Scott Porter figure. It wouldn't be the same as the 2 that were up, of course, last year. But for a future HeroClix for Huntington's event, Rusty's hair has not come up in the conversation, but maybe I got something to fight for now.
Yeah. I'm looking at the screen grab here on IMDb, and man, that movie is rather star-studded too. So yeah, that's that might be added to my list of things to watch now.
All I want to know is, I was just gonna say, Scott, you just can't ever retire, because we just need more content that we could pull to put you in, and for HeroClix related merchandise.
Man, look, I as long as WizKids is willing to have me around, as long as the community is happy with what I'm able to bring, I will stick around for as long as I possibly can. So
sure.
I don't think there's any threat of me going away anytime soon. I do have two quick things because I'm looking in the questions here too.
Okay.
What is my tried and true fast food restaurant? That's going to be Taco Bell. Taco Bell, day or night. I know some people think you should only eat Taco Bell late at night, but I don't agree with that. And Wesley Robertson wanted to know what is in Daniel Powell's cup today. So yeah, what's in Daniel's cup tonight?
Oh, it was just unsweet tea. So yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
you got to give the brand. You got to try and get the sponsor. What brand? Sell it to me, Dan.
Oh, so oddly enough, unbeknownst to you, I was at the farm today, and on the way home, I stopped and got Taco Bell. No joke, not joking at all. I got Taco Bell, so I have Taco Bell unsweet tea. So Taco Bell, if you're listening, we would love to be sponsored with lots of soft shell tacos.
Yeah, because for all those that don't know, don't forget you can eat very healthy at Taco Bell.
That's right. Yep, I actually met my my FitnessPal goals, so I had about 1,000 calories left. So I had a couple of soft shell tacos and the new chicken grill cantina burrito. So
yeah, just swap the grilled chicken, man, and it's mostly just protein, so you're pretty good.
Yep.
The Taco Bell's getting expensive. You know, Scott, you've got kids. Like now, I'm spending $40 at Taco Bell, and I'm really debating my life choices.
As a broke high school student, there was nothing better, but I'm in my 40s, so you know. I feel like I didn't hear from Alvy at all tonight.
He had to drop to take care of his youngins, so I know he's really excited.
I wanted to make sure that I
weekend.
pass on a thank you to him and let him know I will be available for all the conversations down in Huntsville. And we're so glad that he's coming. Sounds like there's a lot of people coming for the first time this year. There's a whole Oregonian, group coming down, and it's really cool to see the reach that this event has had, and you guys are a big part of spreading the word on it. So I just wanted to say thanks before I head out to both of you guys and to Alvy for having me on again.
Oh no, you're very welcome. Thanks for being on, and we'll let you go join the Lesser Scott for some conversation as well.
The Lesser podcast.
I mean, shoot,
I didn't say Lesser podcast.
he's working with.
That's not a fair statement for them.
I know. I'm kidding.
I just said the Lesser Scott, which is an accurate statement. So
that he is got to deal with Jason Blum. I don't know that I can actually call him Lesser Scott anymore. So hey, congrats, Crampton. But thanks again, guys. I'm gonna head out. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for having me on again.
yeah, sounds good.
Yep, thanks.
And then we'll let Scott hang up here because we got a few other things to talk about while there he goes. So yeah, it's always great. I did forget. I guess I have to mention it to everybody on my staff meeting this week again that I get to be with a celebrity this weekend. I had a celebrity on the podcast.
Yeah,
it's always a good, fun time to have Scott on. I did want to talk a little bit about some of the other questions that we had.
I real quick. Anytime I mention to somebody that I know a celebrity, I always hope they know they've seen Ginny and Georgia, or some of his other stuff, because they always ask, "Oh, what is he in?" And I'm like, Friday Night Lights, Ginny and Georgia.
Well, now I'm able to. So I was on his IMDb, and the Hallmark show popped up as the first ad at the trailer, and it is very much a Hallmark show. So.
Yeah, I can add in I need to start adding in all the video games and stuff. When I talked about the TV show, he voiced George Stacy for 4 episodes and Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Mm-hmm. And my kids have that show on all the time recently. Yeah. Even now, I think they're out there watching this show.
Yeah, we watch it a lot. Yeah, and then I was looking for the video game that the map was based on. What?
So it's The Walking Dead. Yeah, it's Walking Dead. It's a Telltale game. So he has Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series. But remember, he said it was there's Walking Dead Season 2 video game. There's 2013. He voices Luke. So it's older.
Oh, it's an older one. Okay, so
yeah.
I'm looking at the Walking Dead Season 2 video game. Was it like a mobile game or?
So it was a series that was different because it wasn't action. It was more. I remember when it came out, it was interesting because I remember Clementine. It was one where you had to make decisions, like a decision tree type things. Zombie would come up, and you had to like, do you go under the truck? Or
Oh,
do you
okay.
go
So
to the left?
it's more like a Steam game.
It's an adventure. Yeah, it was on PC to start with. It may have came out on Xbox and stuff at some point also.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it started out as that. It was very popular.
Yeah.
For a while. So
Gotcha. Yeah,
but,
I did not know about it. Oh, well, that's super cool. Yeah, I mean, golly, Scott's everywhere. So, I think we wanted to cover a few other questions tonight regarding the event coming up.
Yeah, and I think we should cover a little bit more about like maybe the more rock related things for the Rock Cup, simply because we're not going to have another episode before we are there. So
no,
I think it'd be good to at least talk a little high level on things that we hadn't talked about yet.
Sure. First of which is on my mind is don't forget to stop at Buc-ee's. If you're coming down from the north to the south, or even if you are flying into the airport in Huntsville, the Buc-ee's is not terribly far from the airport. Now, it's like north of the airport, and Lucky Dice is to the east of the airport. So you're going to have to kind of go out of your way. But if you're flying from, especially like our guys there in Oregon, the Clix dads, since they're coming in, if y'all are getting a rental car, drive up to Buc-ee's. It's definitely a unique thing for this part of the country. So
yeah, it's like a 20-minute drive is what I'm saying. So
yeah,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's super close to the airport. So fresh brisket on the board.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that there's not a Buc-ee's I can go to unless I drove beyond to the Buc-ee's you're talking about. And I don't really want to go to Buc-ee's at the end. I might like go out there on the way back home, like swing by there and then head home just to pick up some stuff. But
yeah, I mean we're planning on going there. We're planning on going there on the way down on Thursday and then on the way home on Monday. So
yeah. So Dan, why don't you real quick? What events are you playing in? Have we talked about that at all?
No, we haven't because you're not going to be there Wednesday, right?
So I think I will. It depends if I can find a team to hop in on.
Right. So you're gonna have to drive back home on Wednesday or find somewhere else to stay, I guess.
I think Howard's letting me crash on his couch.
Okay.
But otherwise I'll just get a place for one night. It's not that big of a deal.
So Wednesday is the Tracy Bach Memorial event. That is the only event I do not plan on participating in. I am currently qualified for Sunday. So, Alex, are you playing Sunday?
I could. I have not prepared for it, so I'm probably not.
Okay. Got it.
I'm undecided. It depends, because this year's different for me. I'm helping out, and I'm technically on staff, but that's primarily because I was working on the website, and so I'm free to play in any of the events. I'm not going to play in the Saturday event, because they'll need help with that, and I don't really want to hop in there and do that. Though if they wanted me to, I don't mind. But I'm mostly planning on playing in. I was thinking the Tracy Brock event because that actually has pretty good prizing. I mean, the winner of it gets the next phase chase booster or something for a fun event. Well, we did it last year. Besides the fact that we pulled terrible, there's something fun about opening old stuff and being like, could we get that old figure? And knowing everyone is also having that kind of miserable time of having old figures.
Yeah, I mean, that the thing is like, to get Jason to be able to go, we couldn't take the extra day. I couldn't really justify the extra day because I wouldn't have anything to do Thursday. Now, sure, I could play in the Rock Regional. Sure. That's a thing that I could definitely do. But I don't really have to because I'm qualified for Sunday.
For me, for example, Thursday I'm not playing in the regional. I'm actually going to work a half day remotely on Thursday because I mean I would rather wake up, work. I got some work meetings I got to do, and then roll over in the afternoon or something because it is a little odd. I mean, it makes sense how the schedule works. There's not really another way of doing it.
True.
But yeah, if you're already qualified, I mean, okay, you don't necessarily have to play on Thursday. That's perfectly fine.
Right. Yeah. So, otherwise we would be there. So we're planning on coming down Thursday after we get off of work, which puts us there for Friday morning. So Friday we are definitely all playing. Jason and Tyler are playing on a team. Now that Tyler is back, so that is a cool thing to have Tyler back, obviously. But y'all are playing together, kind of as the, I guess, the podcast kind of version of the show. So
super excited that Jason's going.
Yes.
Otherwise, me and Tyler were having to look because you had already formed your team before any of that had happened.
Yeah, because you didn't know what your judge involvement was going to participation, your volunteering was going to have to entail. So, we didn't quite know what you were going to be able to do. So I went ahead and teamed up with TJ and Azareth early on, because Jason wasn't going to go, or Jason wasn't going for a long time. What was it? Also, golly,
it was because Nick also.
Well, and then Nick didn't know. And, I mean, Tyler was still, I'm going to call it iffy with his stuff for a while there, while we were still planning on coming to the event. So, obviously, we're super glad that Tyler's coming. So a lot of iffy stuff. So, the podcast hosts playing together would be Jason, Alex, and Tyler. I guess to do it in proper order, Jason, Tyler, Alex. Sorry, Alex. So that's what we're doing on Friday. Yep, got to think about all those days together.
Because that event, once again, don't forget that event, we've talked a little bit about pricing, but I mean, that invitational, I think, has the best pricing. Like the Saturday event, that is the sealed event, you got to remember, getting the product early is kind of part of the pricing, a little bit, because the 3v3 tournament on Friday has the design a bystander or map tied to the retail chase boosters and the
Friday is huge. Like Friday's event is huge because first place gets design a bystander or a map, and then you get the next phase factory set times 3. So that's $700 for Kevin still. Kevin, I mean, we don't know if Kevin's going to be pulled, from a booster at the event. But you get to design a bystander or a map. Obviously, I think you go for a design a bystander if you win. Then you get the next phase factory set times 3, and you get a Scott Porter trophy times 3. Even second place is really huge because you get the map or the bystander, depending on what first place picks. Jason, you got a lot of background noise, but welcome back.
So welcome, Jason.
Hello.
And you get the next phase retail chase boosters times 3.
Yeah.
And then
and the con LEs this year, I mean, I believe all the Adepticon con LEs are part of prizing, which is great.
Top 8 gets Space Ghost times 3, Phoenix Sentinel times 3, Harley Quinn times 3, and then the ones from Adepticon were Rainbow Soups, Iceman, King Thor, King Arthur, and then you get Hawkeye and Hawkeye, And then you get the 2 versions of Scott as well.
Rainbow Hands also was at Worlds, so
Yeah,
well,
he's a world.
I'm saying those were given away at Adepticon as well.
Right.
So, so that'll be really cool for top 8, and then top 4 adds in Merman Bats, Venom Goddess Symbiotes, and the map, the Major Brock's Bunker Map Gold variant ×3. Top 16, we're going way out of order here, but top 16, you get a pile of Con LEs as well. You get the Joker, the Watcher, the Bat and Cat, the Warpboard Phoenix, the Thor Gwyn, the Punchline, the Death Metal Wonder Woman, Spider Hulk, Ashley Barton, and a pair of rock dice. And then
don't forget, this is... Oh, go ahead.
And I was going to say, and then everybody that participates, every team on Friday, gets a John Cena Con LE. How many more of those do they have?
Probably too many.
How many more? I'm not complaining, to be clear, but like I have gone through stacks and stacks of John Cena Con LEs the past few years.
I mean, they have enough to give it. They have enough to give out his participation. So
maybe.
I mean, it wasn't overproduced. I think it's just it came out at bad timing, right? It came out right when it was retired. Didn't it come out and then get retired immediately?
Yeah, it did.
Like, so, I mean, I wish there was a spot for it. Like, it got a legacy card or something. I know that it can't, but part of me wishes, like...
I mean, why can't it? Like,
well,
I guess it can.
Probably,
property.
Yeah, licensing issues, right? That would be
let's just put like Ricky Stanicki on it or something.
But just a reminder, I mean, that's top 16 prizing for teams. So, I mean, there's probably going to be at least, hopefully, 30 teams, if not more. Like,
so 30 would be 90. Yeah, I'm going to assume there's 30 teams. Yeah, so almost top half should get top 16 prizing.
That's really good prizing.
Yeah, very, very good.
So that is the event. So, Jason, we did talk about, you pairing up with Tyler and Alex and how excited. By the way, Scott Porter wants to talk to you about your feedback from the event, and he was also very excited that you were able to make it. By the way, so you'll have to go back and listen to that part of the show that you were absent for.
Yeah, I had to do daddy duty, so yeah.
Oh, good. So, and then the next event that you are not participating in, Alex, but Jason and I are participating potentially, is the Scott Porter Super Duper Duper Sealed, Scott Porter versus the World.
What? Why do you not do the seal?
So it's one of those. I was advised by Howard I can play in anything because I'm on staff, but it's primarily because I helped with the website. So it's kind of like that's my help with the website. So I could play in everything. I'm really going to see how well everything's going because I think there's probably a couple other judges that want to play in it, and I'm not judging anything. I could play in anything. It's really just I want to see how things are settled for the day, and if everything looks organized. Because remember, last year was crazy, and if everything's much more organized, then I'll probably play in it. But if they need my help with something, I don't mind stepping out because I'm playing in a 3v3 and hopefully the Tracy event. So
this is definitely a one Deadpool, one next phase booster thing, right?
Yep.
Yes.
100%. And it does sound like you said that there was 120 boosters of Deadpool and Weapon X available. So there probably won't be 120 players playing, but we'll have to. I mean, I know. Sorry, let me correct that. So we will probably get to mulligan our next phase booster if possible, but we probably won't get to mulligan our Deadpool and Weapon X booster.
Yeah, because I forget how many we had, but it was kind of close to 100, wasn't it, last year?
I thought you said we had 120 boosters of Deadpool. So
Right. I'm just thinking, like, compared to last year, how many people did we have?
Oh, I don't know. It was a bunch.
Like, so this 120 boosters works for 120 players. So I'm thinking we're going to get close to that. So you're right. There's probably not going to be many mulligans. And I assume, like, we probably realistically, from a staff standpoint, set a limit. Like, okay, if we have 100 players or like 110 players, right? Well, instead of allowing 10 players to mulligan, maybe we should use that brick for the auction or something, right? Like, there probably is better avenues instead of allowing 10 people an extra advantage because they stood up faster than everyone else, right?
That's right. Yeah. So, but I mean, if they will allow us to mulligan our next phase booster or something like that, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that would be an option because I'm pretty sure Howard has more than enough next phase.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to speak for that.
Yeah,
I will say
that will be a day of call. I mean, we get that. So so top 16 prizing. You get the bystander, Pegasus Cap, the Joker Con, King Arthur. That's cool. The Watcher, Thorgwyn, Hawkeye and Hawkeye, Rock Dice, top 8. Adds in both Scott Porters, Venom, God of Symbiotes, Rainbow Hands, Soups, the Scott Porter map, the Punchline Connelly, Dark Metal Wonder Woman, Spider Hulk, Ashley Barton, Phoenix Sentinel. Top 4 was really cool because you get the next phase retail booster. Iceman, King Thor, Mermaid, Merman Bats, Ares Connelly, Spider Connelly, Warp World Phoenix. Second place gets a next phase booster brick. First place gets a trophy and a Deadpool and Weapon X booster brick.
And Scott talked about this. Community props are back for this. That's one where you'll just keep a tally, and at the end you'll pay the piper of like how many props did we use. We each used 5. Cool. So write that down, and then we'll keep tabs on how many you use, and then you'll all that money goes to HDSA for the props.
Alex, real quick, the design a legacy is is that fellowship for Saturday?
So I don't have a fellowship page out here. I debated about doing that because fellowship is kind of a little bit of a surprise and a little bit of not of what all they win, because we want everyone to go for the fellowship, but we don't want to spell out specifically what they're getting because I don't know. There's a little aspect of fellowship that's a little nicer to know that you don't quite know what you're getting, but it's going to be amazing, right? So yes, part of that was pushed over to the fellowship aspect.
Okay, so it's somewhere during fellowship, which Porter will be awarding. I guess we could have asked him.
Yeah, and I'm going to probably still put some info out there to at least more details of how fellowship works. I have it on my list right here to add along with the online, because we didn't talk about that either. There are online ways to play. You can do online BRs. I don't have a page out here for it yet because we had to do some talks about what the pricing was going to be, but that's definitely been settled. So you could play at home, and you could play on some of the online BRs and win yourself, one of the bystander tokens or some, I believe it's the tarot cards, a random tarot card. So look for on the website probably tomorrow for more info if you can't make it.
I think signups are already up for the online BRs.
Yeah, there's certain times during the days that there are different times than the in-person ones. So
right,
that's why I didn't do it exactly how they had it on there. Another thing that I don't remember if we talked about it on here, but we have contingency plans. If anybody was wondering about the Deadpool one, I know there was concerns about, Scott opened his brick and it didn't come with the dice that came with, what was it, Long Shot or Domino or one of them. I've talked to Aaron, and so we're going to have a contingency plan in place to where you could still utilize the mechanic on those figures. It's just, it'll be tied to a D6, and we'll explain it, but it basically what's on the back of the cards of the Deadpool, you'll just number them 1 through 6 and effectively roll a D6, and that'll be what it is on the die. Just as a contingency, because we don't want people, trying to mulligan because they didn't have a die, because the die isn't guaranteed.
Right.
It would be different if there's no card, but the dies we know aren't necessarily guaranteed. They probably should be, but from my understanding, I don't believe they are.
So that wasn't just a mistake?
I don't think so. We haven't heard anything, but
I mean, why would you have a mechanic tied to that and not include it with a figure?
I don't know. But either way, with how few boosters there are, I don't feel like we can afford people. If we end up with 15 people saying that could potentially cripple the plans, right? If they all try to mulligan just because they didn't have the die. So, especially if it's something with such an easy fix, right? Just saying, okay, a D6, you just tie the two dies together, you'll be able to kind of work out how exactly, I rolled a 3. Well, a 3 on the domino dial is actually a 4, right? It's something that'll be pretty easy. It's easier to explain in person than it is on a podcast. So,
yeah. So, let's go into answering a few questions. Oh, sorry. Well, I guess we'll talk about Sunday. So, Sunday's schedule is 400 points Silver Age. And then top 32, you need more John Cena's for everybody. But top 32, Joker, Watcher, Rock Dive 16, enters $75 a person. The Bystander, the Map, Bat & Cat, Warp World Phoenix, Thorgwyn, Punchline, top 8 is $225, adding in Phoenix Sentinel, Venom God, and Harley Quinn. Top 4 is $500. Next phase, Retail Chase Booster, Merman, Iceman, King Thor, Robin, Space Ghost. Second place is $1,000. Wheels of Vengeance Factory Set. First place is $1,500. Trophy, Design a Map, and Next Phase Factory Set, which is more than $1,500.
Wait a minute, quick question, Alex. On the schedule on Sunday, there's no BRs on Sunday?
So, no, there probably is going to be BRs, yes. This is a point of contention I've had with Howard a little bit that I've still need to clarify. There are going to be BRs. The problem is that Howard hasn't separated. He considers rock and rolls and BRs to be the same thing. And
well, there's nothing. Neither one of those are listed on the Sunday page.
I know it's on my list.
I have nothing to do Sunday except play BRs, and if there's not going to be any,
it's okay, Jason. It's okay. There'll be BRs. The only reason I didn't put it on there is because we've been calling them rock and rolls this whole time, and so by the time Sunday rolls around, you're not trying to earn points anymore, and so I needed to get clarification from Howard of how, if he's doing them separate or if all BRs are rock and rolls, and so even if you're just playing a friendly BR, you're going to get points, which would be sweet if that's the case. But
Jason doesn't play friendly BRs. He only plays BRs to kick ass.
That's right.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
in a friendly fashion.
Which we haven't talked about on here. But FYI, if you're trying to go for points and you're trying to qualify, 100%, unless you're needing reps with your team, I would suggest playing in one of the rock and roll BRs. Because the way the points work for those, it makes way more sense. For the hard rocks, which are the constructed events, those are single elimination 8-man tournaments. Just a reminder, like first place gets 50 rock points, second 25, third, fourth gets 10, fifth through eighth get 5 points. So if you don't win your first match, you get 5 rock points. Whereas in a BR, you sit down. Now it costs $20 as opposed to the 10. If you are third or fourth in a BR, you get 10 rock points. So it's effectively as if you won your first round of single elimination. So in BRs, I mean, if I was going in and I didn't need the reps of my team, like I didn't want to play for my team and I wanted to hide it, I would 100% just do rock and rolls. Just knowing I'm getting some next phase figures. Even if I bomb out and don't get what I need, I'm still getting 10 points. And it's only an hour time investment. Whereas the hard rock, that could be 3 to 4 hours depending on the tournament, right? So not to discourage people from playing hard rocks, but I think rock and rolls, if you're close on points or you just need a little bit, I would 100% do the rock and rolls. But that's just me.
Okay, so y'all aren't playing in the big dance then?
I'm not planning to, no.
Nope.
I'll probably, I'll probably hop in a BR with Jason.
I mean, I just don't play silver, I just don't care.
I haven't had enough time. Is the problem? I've been trying. I've barely had enough time for the 3v3. So
Yeah.
with everything going on, it's like, all right, I can't handle the 3v3, the 400-point modern, and silver with all the craziness that's in silver. I would love to, but I just can't. So I'm just not planning on playing on it and just I'll play some BRs with Jason instead.
Yeah. I'm here to play BR in that day. That's why I'm going.
Oh my gosh!
Because all the BR prizing, I don't know if we ever mentioned that. I don't know if I have it out here. Have I been slacking on that too?
Yeah,
I've been slacking on that too. Look at me. BR prizing in person is going to be similar to the ones at Adepticon, except they're going to have the new bystander, the Lucas PJ Scott bystanders. The items that are up for grabs are, the broadswords, the King Arthur Camelot, the Venom Goddess symbiotes, the Battle Armor Watchers, the Hanna-Barbera Joker. The bystander, like I said, there's even some bag of Starfights and some bag of Spider-Men. Remember those things that came out? And I don't know if anyone ever got them.
Yeah, I got Spider-Man.
There's some of those. There's some objects from Exosword, some of the 3D objects. And so those are things that are all going to be thrown into the BRs. So effectively, kind of like how it was at Adepticon. But you're going to get that and rock points. So, which we know rock points going forward is potentially going to have a more monetary value, right? If you're able to, I don't know for here, but like down the road, that's the point to have them how they were before with TCG player points. So,
right. All right. Well, I guess that's one of those things like, I am playing Sunday. I do intend on trying to do well. I plan on trying to, and I guess between the two of y'all, right? Like y'all probably just really don't care, blah blah blah. I don't like silver.
I care. I like silver. So to be fair,
we didn't get to talk about me playing in Columbus last week, with at J Major's event, which went really well. Had a lot of fun. Had a good time. But unfortunately, I guess unfortunately is the right word. Silver Age is now settled to me. Very much a settled format.
You've solved it?
No, I did not solve it. Lucas did. It is very much the team to play and or beat is Tri-Sentinels with a Mutt's Tomb and Agatha. Or by extension, just anything with a Mutt's Tomb.
Yep.
That is the team to beat. That is the team to play. Tri-Sentinels doing 2 pin damage for just moving. Insanely powerful. Like beyond normal capabilities. Tri-Sentinels have always been a very powerful figure. And now it's doubly so with the ease at which 400 points can amass a Mutt's Tomb triggers. So I really do think that a Mutt's Tomb should be something that's looked at for next year. I think Tri-Sentinels need to be looked at for next year. And just in general, the fact that Agatha, they moved it from 300 to 400, and then Scarlet Witch bad. Oh, we'll just up the points so that you can more easily play Agatha. So Lucas played his team very well, but Lucas's team is very much the team to beat in the format.
Now, do you think, I know that we're talking silver, do you think Amit's Tomb is a problem just in general? Like, is it watch listable?
Yeah, because of how easy it is to rack up stuff on it, for sure.
I think I tend to agree. I feel like there's a few things they need to do on it. Lowering it to 5 points for the additional points might help because it's 10 right now, right?
What?
Yeah.
Or you score extra points for killing things, right?
You're saying lower that down? Oh, you mean lower the points that you score.
Yeah, I don't mean like make it easier. I meant like instead of 10 points.
So I think for me in general, there's a couple of things, right? So the big thing for mystery cards in 400 points is they adjusted mission points, but forgot mystery cards triggers because a Mutt's Tomb is not the only really good mystery card.
I mean, it's really the only one that's seen a ton of play.
I mean, it's just the best one.
Because it's mystical.
Yeah, it's mystical and detective. I mean, there's a lot of good detectives, too, in Silver Age.
Way less well, it's even in Modern, but like way less than mystical. Mystical's everywhere.
Yeah, mystical is everywhere. So
detective, you have like the Josapha teams that are built specifically for that kind of stuff. Whereas mystical, I'm like, people are accidentally playing mystical teams, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can throw a Mutt's Tomb on there. I'm playing Kong, sweet. I'll just throw this card on there, and I get all this bonuses."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think.
But yeah, in general, right? Like, it became definitely a solved format last weekend for me. Lucas's team is the team to play or beat, basically. So, I mean, I call it unfortunate, call it whatever you'd like, but it's a solved format for this year. Agatha, Tri-Sentinels, a Mutt's Tomb, GG's. So
you sound a little defeated.
No, I would say that I was maybe defeated coming out of that event. But I think there's a couple things to look at combating that, which help out a lot. A couple of notes there. I did post in the Facebook group to make sure that you have Glen Grove Cemetery, still a purchasable map. Additionally, besides Glen Grove, Eastview Park is a big one. And then maybe just in general, a big map is a big deal to have. A big wide open map. I didn't have a comprehensive list in mind as far as maps go. I wish there. I guess. But Eastview Park, Glen Grove Cemetery are really good things to have. Make sure that your team can navigate a big map. Because the one thing that I did notice whenever Lucas played Azrith on that map is that in general that team does have a limitation of being able to traverse a big map that's wide open and be able to attack and be able to get your Tri-Sentinel over there. Like Morlock Tunnels, there's so much blocking on that map that it's able to just yeet across the map, make you feel bad for existing, and deal 2 damage to you because he gets 10 triggers on turn 1.
10 triggers from what?
8 triggers. Sorry, 8 triggers on a Mutt's Tomb.
Oh, on a Mutt's Tomb. I see.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the triggers from the thing.
From like sidestepping and stuff?
Yeah,
like,
because sidestep gets it.
Wait, what's that I hear? Is that Merlin coming from the high ropes? Is he coming down and saying, "Hold on, is someone doing a bunch of free actions?"
No, I mean
that's my music.
And keep in mind, no, Alex, it's 3 sidesteps. It's like 3 sidesteps. I'm trying to think of all the.
They do 10 damage. It's a good thing I have Invincible.
I'm
kidding. It's not for anyone knowing it. This is all.
Yeah, you're just being. I know you're being facetious, but no. Keep in mind because then it's Agatha that voops all the way across the map. So
as a free action.
One free action. So
I'm just saying, like, I hadn't thought about it till just now. It's not a hard counter, but it's one like Merlin is always going to be one of those pieces that's like he can really mess up a team who has their flow and relies on a lot of free actions, because that is what a lot of good teams do. Is they have a ton of free actions, and limiting them to 5 in this format.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty big.
I get it. I agree with you. I don't disagree with what you're saying, Alex. But
I wonder if you're trying to build a mirror team, because he does have mystical. I wonder how that will work, because mirror matches are always whoever goes first is probably winning.
Yeah, and I think that's what you end up with here in this situation. So, but yeah, I did have a few thoughts. Just whatever outdoor map has minimal amounts of blocking, I think is the big deal. I was just looking real quick at the other rock maps. Wonder Woman's Barn, while not maybe the map that I would choose necessarily, because it does have a ton of blocking on it, but it is wide open. Mount Olympus is a good situation. You got to keep in mind it's kind of easy to cross Mount Olympus because of the starting areas. So probably Wonder Woman's Barn, Glen Grove, Eastview Park, even like Hell's Pit is a good example, even though it's indoor. I'm just trying to throw out at least a little bit more options here. Maybe not the best options, but not everybody necessarily has those maps that I was referring to.
And I would also suggest, I know I've been guilty of this, but when you're building your sheet and you're looking at, objects, and I know if I don't have a team that has specific need for objects, like an elevator for Kong or Prime Spidey, I'll throw on like a 2x1 blocking, or I'll throw on some of those blocking terrains thinking, well, I can protect my starting area. You might want to rethink that going into this. Unless you have a specific need for that terrain marker, I would not put any blocking terrain markers, because you have to play those, right? Like, you can't just be like, well, I'm going to keep it off to the side.
No,
you don't want to give them more blocking than you need to.
That's right.
So
yeah, that's correct. So I'm just looking while you've been talking here. Institute Grounds is a good one. Even as you go into some of these, it's just any outdoor map that's relatively easy to traverse. Great Mound is a good example. But I was also going to say the other thing I didn't get to mention earlier whenever Porter was talking about Jeremiah Peterson. I would like to thank Jeremiah Peterson for shipping out some more blocking terrain to bring me up to 25. So the other option is barrier, barrel, stop sign, and the ability to produce 20 to 25 of them a turn. So that makes things really fun to play. Maybe not for your opponent.
For some people.
For some people. So I'll give you a guess.
Jason, does that sound fun to you? That doesn't sound fun to me.
No, Jason, you've been having fun with it. Don't be lying to the people.
I did enjoy that when I tried it out. Yeah. I don't know if I can keep it up all day, but it was
That's right. So, actually, oddly enough, Mr. Chomp Swamp, pretty good map for that. So I'm just looking at a bunch of different maps here. But, all right. So I am looking forward to playing. I am most likely playing Oops All Barrier with a barrel and a stop sign, because I'd rather go down as a 0-0 than what I experienced, which I streamed at Jay's event, which is I moved over 2 pin damage, sidestep, 2 pin damage. Ooh, I got 10 extra points for dismoving. Not to make fun of Lucas. Lucas's team is a very good team. I think there'll be a lot of copycats. I'm lending out my 3 Tri-Sentinels to somebody else. So
that wasn't Lucas's voice. That was the Tri-Sentinel talking.
Yes, it was, exactly. I mean, I think, I think really the biggest thing for me is probably Agatha was the biggest miss on the ban list because they switched it from 300 to 400 points. And they're just like, Agatha's fine. Here's another 100 points to fucking support her. I mean, she's a really good play. So, but her friend Scarlet Witch was like, ban. Temporarily, I know, Alex. But Agatha, she's okay.
It was Agatha all along.
It was. So let's go through a few questions here.
Real quick, just real fast. I think the Agatha thing might be more due to the rise of Mystical. Does that have anything to do with it? Because I remember Agatha's big thing was that she didn't have great keywords. And Mystical was kind of
Agatha's always been good. What are we talking about here?
Well, no, she hasn't. She's been all right, but she didn't theme with a lot of teams. So you have to go Mystical.
So no, Agatha has three great keywords for in silver. Celebrities really great in silver. Past also themes with the Dooms. And then the overwhelming keyword is obviously Mystical. But yeah, there's 3 avenues for Agatha to be really, really great in silver.
I'll disagree on the celebrity and past. I don't think a lot of people are building those.
I think Doom will make a big appearance in the event. But celebrity, I just think you're forgetting about how great celebrity was from Disney.
Well, celebrity lost. Well, that's because Saki and Switch were in it. Both of those gone.
So just from Marvel, like Agnes makes celebrity worth it. I know she's also Mystical and past, but celebrity's good there. You do have what's her name? The Spider-Man gal, Marvella.
Yep. Yeah, I know you could cheat Spider-Man and celebrity into Spider-Man. I know that. And I felt like when I played Celebrity, and even with newer figures, it was Saki and Scarlet Witch that carried the Celebrity team for a while. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not as good because those two are gone.
Yeah. But, I mean, Celebrity going into Spider-Man family makes a lot of sense as well. So...
sure.
That allows your Scott Porter to pick another keyword too. Don't forget about that. So, because he has celebrity, he'll then have Spider-Man family. Then he can pick, Yellow Lantern or whatever, or not Yellow Lantern. Yeah, he could pick Yellow Lantern. I guess the Black Shirt Porter could be a Lantern in that case. So I'm assuming most people are already prepped really for next Sunday, but those are a lot of thoughts that I have. Is from last weekend is Lucas's team is the team to beat, and it's really, I think, Lucas's event to lose next weekend based on how well he's able to play that team. So big props to Lucas for winning last weekend, and big thanks to him for showing us how his team is played. So great contribution to the community. Very much all positive thoughts there for Lucas, and that was the Tri-Sentinel talking. So on to questions. Alyssa McNeil, how many teams are you expecting to be playing Kong in the 3v3? I think every team will include a Kong.
Well, every one out of the 3.
Yeah,
not every team in the 3v3.
Every team in the 3v3 will be playing a Kong.
Every group of teams. There needs to be another word for it because there's technically team. It's like 3 teams.
Alex, you're good. People get what we're saying. They understand that it's Highlander. So I would then expect in Silver Age on Sunday during the big dance, I think I'm going to go pretty conservative and say 25% of teams will be playing that Kong.
Yeah, I mean, he does get hit with the power erasers, so that might be what few there's left. He does get hit with that a bit. But most likely only played a 50 due to the Silver Age modern limitations. You can't afford anything else. So
That's right. Yeah.
But he's a good 50. So yeah, I can agree with 25. Maybe a little lower. But
Wesley Robertson asked, do you have any ideas to build a team around the Ultra Chase Deadpool unicorn? Don't.
Like, just in general?
Yeah, I mean, just in general. I mean, he's got Animal and Mystical, but, like, he's 140 points that just gets zapped.
Then he's outwittable, so...
Yeah, just... he used to be really cool when their ID cards were legal. Yeah, just don't. I mean, honestly, Wesley, I mean, I know that's kind of brutal advice, but just really don't.
This is another instance that I really wish WizKids would almost just get more liberal with their legacy cards. Because, like, there's a lot of figures like this that's like, oh, I spent so much money on it, I wish it would come back. But they could just...
I don't think you do.
As long as it's, like, more playable, but that doesn't mean it's, like, broken good.
Yeah. So, Brandon Michael Bruner asked, what is the best piece of advice you could give to someone that is going to HeroClix for Huntington's or any big event like it for the first time? Well, you already heard our resounding recommendation for Buc-ee's. Actually, just I ate lunch or an early supper yesterday with Josiah and his girlfriend Emma when Sam and I went to Louisville. And a couple pieces of advice. Rosie's Cantina is really good Mexican. Be sure to stay hydrated. Alabama is hot. And then the donut place in the parking lot of Lucky Dice Cafe is closed on Sunday. Be sure to get your donuts on Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Yeah, and don't forget that Lucky Dice does sell food. They make food, and they will deliver it while you're playing.
That's right. So,
which is nice because sometimes in between rounds you don't have time, and you thought you should have done something. Well, you can run and order food, and they'll bring it to you. It can't distract you from the game, but it is nice ordering a sandwich and like, oh, I gotta play. Oh, thank goodness my sandwich is here. Like, it's nice to not have to worry about that. Yeah. It is one of the main perks of it being at Lucky Dice is, they serve food, they serve drinks, and it's good food. It's not, convention center hot dogs.
Yeah, it's way better than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way better. But as you're going into this week, make sure that you inventory all of your stuff before you leave. Print out your build sheets from hcunits.net. Have all of that ready to go and prepped. Practice your team, place it on a map before you go. Hopefully you're more well practiced than that, but at the very minimum, understand how your team works. Print out any erratas from the win that might be on pieces that you're playing. I think that is about it. But Brandon, we've also gone over this a bunch of times, so I'm probably forgetting something. But Alabama is hot. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, it'll be in the mid 80s or low. Actually, it's supposed to be a little rainy, so it'll be low 80s next week. So not too terrible, but yeah, it is humid. It'll be humid for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the last of our.
Have fun. Don't forget, have fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Yep.
That was the last of our questions for tonight.
This is like set review level length of a.
It's 2
episode.
hours.
That's
so
kind of nice.
Just trying to wrap us on up here. Alex, final thoughts.
I can't wait to see everybody at the Rock Cup / HeroClix Huntington's. It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait to see people.
Jason, final thoughts.
Hope to see everybody there. Have a good time. I'll be glad to get this over so we can go back to playing Modern Age.
Holla. Yeah, so I do agree with you there, Jason. I am looking forward to playing 300 Modern again. 400 Silver. I really hope everything goes well this weekend. I don't know what I want to say. I want to say I dread it, but I mean, I can dread it. I can run from it. I can fear it, but destiny arrives all the same. So might as well just enjoy this weekend. I'm going to be enjoying playing 500 or 400. Golly, 400 points. Going to be an exciting weekend. Looking forward to seeing everybody. If you see us in our Clixed Off shirts, feel free to come up and say hi and introduce yourself. We look forward to seeing all of our fans and enjoy interacting with them. Thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.
See ya.
Hey, you still there? Are you listening? No, there's no need to adjust your headphones. You have found the latest episode of Clixed Off After Dark. Hey everybody, this is Daniel. Hey, just editing the main show and was wrapping it up, and was just thinking to myself, did not really get a chance to talk about my silver experience a lot in the at Jay's this past weekend. Alex and Jason aren't really planning on playing in silver. If y'all watch the stream, I like to thank Doug there. I know Doug probably doesn't really listen to the show, but Doug works with Jay Major there at Heroes and Games, and he let me borrow his camera. So my GoPro died on me. The first couple of games, specifically the one with Lucas, didn't get recorded that well. But I wanted to take a little bit of a look at Lucas's team and my team that I played. I'll start off with my team that Az and I both played. It took us to 4th and 5th place when it finishes. So we played, auto guaranteed crit hit with Ultra Chase Thanos. Short answer there. Of course, you go to HC units, go to tournament results, look at the Columbus Regional, you'll see the team. It was full big map reach, Thanos, Ultra Chase Thanos. My problem with the team is that it had absolutely zero defense at all. Just absolutely zero defense. So, it was maybe Az and I were tooling about what to play, and really wanted to try out this Ultra Chase Thanos team. It was fun. You watch the stream, I got to have a couple of really huge turns that, pretty much wiped out entire teams once I got the hang of playing it. But was not optimized. If y'all read some of the stuff about the last few episodes or I shouldn't say read, but listened to the last few episodes where I talked about really wanting Mern to become legal. If Mern was legal, Ultra Chase Thanos becomes the team to play, because Mern pretty much doesn't stop. Mern becomes the, old pre-errated legacy Thanos that allows Ultra Chase Thanos to just crit hit the entire map. But that's not going to be available for Cup. So, as I mentioned in the episode, definitely playing Oops All Barrier this upcoming week. I've played similar teams in the past. It just becomes one of those things that it's like there's really not a great way to just keep your figures from getting hit, right? I mean, I want y'all to keep in mind, right? Like, if you start losing figures on your team, you just start losing. I know people play for different reasons and, have different motivations to play. But, really at the end of the day, if your team just starts falling apart, then you just probably end up losing. So, when I play Barrier, it's really just to keep my figures from getting hit, and it allows me to have a more controlled view of the battlefield, and really puts the pacing in my favor. That's the main reason I'm playing it. I mean, in general, Mern's not legal. Mern not being legal is the main reason. I'm playing Oops All Barrier. And then I did want to talk about Lucas's team a little bit. I know we mentioned it, but the Tri-Sentinels, right, turn 1, and I realize that this means they need to break first turn immunity potentially, but they get sidestep and move each and break a big piece of barrier, and that gives you 6 counters immediately on the Amut's Tomb. Now, additionally, Blackheart can shoot something. You take a Chthon Blackheart, he's shooting any piece of terrain, barrier, and that gets you 7, and then you just have someone random shoot it for the 8th, and that's with your 5 actions. And you only took 3 free actions. I know Alex was joking about Merlin, but realistically, that's only 3 free actions. The other thing that I think about on Lucas's team is Blackheart with Mad Jim. Mad Jim is extremely versatile in silver, but I want to talk a little bit about just Blackheart and Mad Jim, but Mad Jim and specifically, just swapping around to different equipments. You'll see Lucas has a variety of equipments on his team. The big thing being that he has Chthon and the Power Gem available to Blackheart. So, just in general, that's a running shot for 6 damage. Then you KO a guard. You probably KO a guard first so that you get the penetrating version. But then you running shot for 6 penetrating damage. And then you shoot again for another 6 penetrating damage. And then additionally with Chthon, you're not reliant on hitting leadership to get out of guard, because Chthon will damage Blackheart to his stop click on turn 2, so that you can always get a guard to heal up. Now you got to be okay with the 25 points, but Blackheart was really good all those years ago, and still is, especially when you combine Mad Gem and the Power Gem with him. Blackheart Power Gem was played when it was modern, but now you get a Chthon for that extra bit of damage. So, you're looking at 14 attack, 6 damage, 8 range with 6 movement running shot. He's got the full board reach, right? If he can't attack twice and get full board, but he's moving 11 and then taking Chthon damage, then KOing a guard, and then running shotting again, right? The big thing there that I'm looking at, and not just specifically because of Lucas, but Blackheart is a really good piece when it comes to silver. So you look at that just being a really freaking good sturdy piece, right? Sturdy piece, super hits hard. Big thing though being doesn't have a lot of ways to deal with barrier. So talked about Chthon and Blackheart, talked about Mad Jim, and then of course, as I was fired up in the episode about Agatha with another 300 points of support, right? You literally gave her a third more support than she had before. She has improved targeting characters, which is extremely powerful when you look at his sideline having the emotional modifier to put on Battle Fury, for protection against Legacy Thanos. So that gives her really good ability to use that emotional modifier. and then she voops really well. And then Lucas also has the spin ring with swaps to get over to like Nightbringer, Influence, Zero for more barrier. So you're looking at overall a really great team that if you take a look at a Mutt's Tomb, we're talking about evidence 6 square or 6 clue tokens. When a friendly character deals damage to an opposing character occupying or adjacent to debris marker, increase the damage dealt by 1. So for Tri-Sentinels, that means it's 2 penetrating damage. And when the Tri-Sentinels Pulse Wave, that's 2 penetrating damage. Then their After Resolutions ping damage after the Pulse Wave is 2 penetrating damage. So you have to have a way to deal with the Tri-Sentinels. Now, I don't know if it showed up very well on the stream, but some things to look at. Morlock Tunnels. Lucas did a very good job of using his terrain markers to block off the entrances and exits to Morlock Tunnels. If you take a look at the way you can place his terrain markers, they block off those 2x2 or 2x entrances into the start zone. So then he's just able to just run out and start ganking things. It's a really powerful team. Doesn't struggle against a whole lot. There's 400 point Unimind. Probably the only I think it's really the only viable OMA in the format. Kong would be less. Maybe it struggles a bit against that. If Uni stays away from Agatha, right? I wanted to take a quick look at Uni. So, as you're going into Cup this week, right, and HeroClix for Huntington's, Cup/HeroClix for Huntington's, the thing to keep in mind is, right, like, you just need to be prepared to how you face this. There's nothing you can do at this point, really, to change your team, I would say, right, because you're probably practiced with a certain amount of stuff, but go watch, what I posted. The best I can. I know it was it was not the greatest version of the stream, but I just wanted to take a look at Unimind here real quick. And Uni, just has printed 5 damage and a 13 attack with running shot. So, I don't believe Uni can't perplex his damage anymore. Maybe. I don't know if I don't know. I might ask the judges chat that, but if he can modify his damage +2 still, because it says when it uses perplex targeting a character with the eternal keyword, it may modify a combat value by +2 or -2 instead. Now some people might argue that goes for damage, but that's something to ask if you want to be playing full point Uni. But I think Uni becomes a decent enough play against the field. But if it gets caught in the Agatha beam, it's pretty much over, because 12 penetrating damage or 12 damage when it has no powers will kill a full point Unimind. So, I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about some things on Silver. Also wanted to just take a look and highlight Randy Carter's team. I know Randy's not coming to Cup, but mission points are indeed viable in Silver still, even with the rage to 30 points. Randy did the Riddler Perplex version with the puzzled token, and then on a 2 through 6 he gets to get a mission point. So, and I think on his team he had the Riddler, who of course has Perplex, and then Anome has Perplex, No, did he give a no main with Perplex? He didn't. So friendly characters using Outwit, Perplex, or Prob may use it a second time each turn. So he he had the Star-Lord on here. That's cool. From other friendly characters can use Perplex when they must destroy an object they're using, or the use of that Perplex has no effect. That's funny. So his whole team had Perplex. And then he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I'm not counting that correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Valerias that have this Perplex regularly. So I get to use it twice a turn, so that's 12 potential mission points a turn. And then everybody else on the team has Perplex. So 12 from the sidekicks. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. He could get 20 mission points in a turn, potentially. Maybe a little bit more. So it was probably definitely a turn 2, turn 3 win, if depending on those ones on the Riddler. So it'd be funny to see Faust on that team, or Faust against a team like that. But anything but a 1 on those Riddler Perplexes allows him to gain 1 mission point. So Randy's team was really neat. I know Randy's not coming to Rock Cup, but I expect something very similar from I'm forgetting on his Spencer White. I figure Spencer will be on mission points again with something pretty similar. So at any rate, a lot of Kongs, a lot of Black Hearts, a lot of Mad Gems, probably quite a few Thanoses, probably quite a few barrier teams. Barrier gets really hard to play, though, guys. Just keep that in mind. This is looking at packing the rest of my team today after I click publish on this episode. So, but thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off After Dark, and thanks for sticking around. Really am looking forward to seeing everybody at Cup today, or not Cup today, later this week. And hope y'all have a great trip, and y'all be safe, and go to Buc-ee's.